Hey everybody, I am just back today, just showing my next group of miniatures that I'll be painting for musket and tomahawks. This won't actually happen next, they're sort of in line in a queue, but they're coming up shortly in my plans for painting. But I really like these miniatures, and I just talked about them recently about how I had ordered some. These are Minden miniatures, and they're the Legion de Hainault, I believe. I know it's Hainault, which is an area of France. I just ordered recently the standing and sitting ones and the command for these. And to create a troop for musket and tomahawks, don't really have a total even number with my purchases. I think I'm at about 15 minis. That includes the command. Still have to put these on bases, but I just sort of line them up just to take a look at how they'd be organized. I'll just sort of show a close-up here more of them. I'll just pull some out, actually. I'll just show the leader first. This is the officer. I could use him as an NCO, just sort of pointing to where he wants something to be shot, I suppose, or where to go. Nice mini, as usual, for Minden Miniatures. I'd ordered a musician. Well, it comes with the command pack, comes with a musician as well. So I'll be using these as French regulars. The Hainault, I don't believe that the Hainault group were actually in New France, but these are primarily made for 7 Years' War, but I really think that from a uniform perspective that it's the same time period in the world and it's the same country. I think it works just fine. I really liked the detail on these models and the how animated they are, because if you look at Minden's standard French, which were made I think years before, but they were made first in their line, they're a bit more static posed, where you can order a number of different types. I'll show those in a moment to show the variety. One thing I just wanted to mention is this is a standard bearer, and I'll have to drill the hands out. It doesn't come with a flagpole or anything in that regard. I'm interested in those of you that watch the channel that are really into historic metals. I've typically gotten plastic when I've had minis, when I've had poles in the past, or I had the Conquest miniatures by Warlord for my English, where they actually came with a pole and everything you needed and the flags. And so I'm going to have to get my own flagpole for this and flag. I know I'm going to place an order with GMB to actually get the flag for this guy, but I think, and then the pole, I think a local hobby shop sells brass rod, and I can just make some myself. But where do you guys usually get your flag poles from, or do you make them yourself? I think the rod that I'm looking at is around 1 millimeter thick of brass rod. I've just never had to do that before. Then as well, I think it's Conquest that actually sells the tops where you have the tassels, and there's a special type of flagpole top for the French where they have a piece of metal at the top, and I think Conquest actually sells those as well, so I might just buy those and just have, I guess, a couple of extra, because I only really need one for this. But what do you guys do for that? I'm just kind of, as a general question, I'm interested in what everybody else does that watches this. So I'll have to actually do that. I'll have to drill this guy's hands out and kind of get him going with a flag. To show the variety, I've showed some of these guys in the past. I'll start with the new ones, but it comes with a sort of a squatting, kneeling position for firing, as well as a standing. And then there are some advancing poses. Yeah, so quite happy with these guys. I think it'll be great to actually have some French regulars on the table. I typically use the French Marines, and I do have a French, commander on a horse or officer, but most of them I have right now are the Marines, and that were known to be in New France and the natives. And in addition to this officer pack and adding the standing and kneeling regulars, I supplemented my grenadiers that many of you have seen before with an NCO and a musician. I actually realized when I'd ordered my grenadiers in the past that I really had no miniature that stood out as an NCO, because I ordered a lot of stuff from them, but I sort of, I guess, cheaped out on certain things where I just got exactly how many I thought I needed for a squad, but didn't think of the NCO, because you order the miniatures individually. And so even when I was using them in game, it was difficult to properly follow the rules, because you need a leader to be within certain distance of Musket and Tomahawks to have your unit coherency. So I really thought with my 8 that I have now, bringing them up to 10 with a musician model and the NCO would be great. It also gives me 10 grenadiers too, which is great. I'm waiting for my, just as a side note, I'm waiting for my grenadiers to really show up in the game. I don't know if adding more models will help with that, but I really not had them be too successful in my games that I've had so far. They just haven't worked out and haven't really earned their points yet, so to speak, from a gaming perspective. But they are a great unit. I just, perhaps in the times that I have brought them out, they've not showed up yet, and so perhaps adding a couple more models and changing the way I use them a little bit may change that. The last thing that I'd gotten for my Musket and Tomahawks update, and I apologize that this isn't really assembled yet, but I've got myself a limber for my cannon, and it's kind of nice. I'm a bit double-minded by it, but the miniature that comes with it is a very generic sort of mini that really could be used for both sides, and so in some ways I kind of like that. I could just paint him up as just somebody that's just helping out, and for either side, paint him a bit generically. I do typically play British more, but that is probably going to change over time as I add more and more to the French. So it's kind of good to have the limber, and then it comes with 2 identical horses. So part of this project I'll be figuring out how I'm going to attach this limber, and then I'll likely be adding some wire and painting it up as like rope to run around the horses where the limber's attaching and stuff. So that'll be kind of cool as well. So I think that is it for my little update. This is what you'll be seeing in the near future, after 1 or 2 other units for other games to be painted up, and but I'll likely get these guys in the queue and get them on bases and plaster the bases up and get it ready for painting and priming and such. So okay, take care everybody.